All right, I'm going to tell you a little story about Panama, how it sort of changed my life. So, is this one? Ooh. So, it was the first day in Panama, and we arrived at Las Margaritas to the school. The soil was, crumbled in my hands, and it was just so dry, and there was a tire burning in the front, and I thought, what is this? So we all came over to the headmaster, and he explained to us the troubles he had with his garden, and it seemed a bit awkward at first, so I just kind of blurted out, like, "Hola, ¿qué tipo de vegetales tú plantas en el jardín?" Which is just, "Hi, what types of vegetables do you plant in the garden?" It was just kind of to break the ice a little. I don't know if it worked, but and then in the very far corner of the room, I see Yulisa, and she says, "Tomates," which is tomatoes. And she and I just kind of connect, and then since then, she, Cooley, El Jefe, the boss, and Shirley become my great friends. We bond over shoveling sheep excrement, I'll call it, into trucks, and we hike in the primary forest together, and we just tell each other stories, and we exchange these ideas and our thoughts, and it's just an amazing way that we sort of broke a cultural barrier that was there in the beginning. And I think just interacting with these compassionate kids really changed my outlook of the forest and gave me a reason for actually being there in the first place, because at first to me the forest was just kind of a place to hike, take some selfies and go home and go back on the computer and drive in Mercedes and go to school. Now it's something more to me. It's not just foliage. It's like a cultural epicenter for many different peoples, like the Kuna tribe. It's the Kuna live adjacent to the Mamoni Preserve where we were all staying. And I got to know one of the students incredibly well. He was a Kuna tribe member. His name was Cooley. And the great thing about Cooley was he was the greatest guy ever. He had these acrobatic moves. He could just flip around, and he was breaking everything, but it was great. It was great. And he could hang from the ceiling with his toes, and he could read from an English dictionary while doing all of this. It was just phenomenal. And to see the passion in his eyes when he started to compost, he did not know, he did not know what composting was this whole time. He lived in the forest and didn't know how to kind of give back to it. So after learning that, he really changed, and I saw it in him, and we became just great friends. And I learned some Kuna, like Amda is Ola for hello. It's strange, but it's beautiful to me. And also, I also got to know Shirley incredibly well. She, at first, did not speak, really, to anyone. She was looking down the entire time, the first day. And when I started to speak with her, it was just fantastic. She told me she wanted to learn English, and no one could ever teach her. So I thought, I'll give it a try. And we started to learn things together. I told her how to say, "Hi, how are you?" and "I'm hungry, what's for dinner?" And, there was a joy in her, too. The same thing from Cooley. I saw in her a spark of this happiness, kind of, and another exchange of cultural, ideas and thoughts occurred at that point, and it was beautiful to witness and to be a part of. And I think after being on this trip, I know what I want to do later. I'm a senior, and I want to go to Santa Clara University and study environmental studies, and I want to be an environmental lawyer. And because of this, because I saw how these lands need to be protected from, deforestation, from poor agricultural practices, because, third world countries, as it is called, are places where people just don't know how to properly, treat their lands. They don't have bad intentions. They just don't know how to do it, how to be sustainable. And I think it's really important to spread those ideas. And I think it's important to also involve your local communities. And coming back with these ideas, I was able to kind of spread it like wildfire. Like me and I and 18 other kids started our own nonprofit here at Redwood, Companañeros, which is just companions with Panama mashed in the middle of the phrase, which, I mean, maybe it's not a great trademark, but it's okay, we're working on it. And so we hope to bring composting to Redwood, and We also have raised a few $1,000s for the Ecuador Earthquake Relief Fund, which is, another sort of new path for us that I would have never been on in the first place. So, and I guess before I get too deep into my story of Panama, I kind of want to reiterate, why GSC and, why here, why now? And for me, at least, GSC was like physically, mentally rewarding, enlightening, it set me on a new path. And I really think it can do this to your child as well. And just don't set it aside. I know it's a week, you think, oh, it's just going to be a vacation. It's not a vacation. I was sweating. I mean, Aaron Schneider, Todd Van Prusen, like, we were like hacking the soil and like we were, sweating bullets, and I was climbing things and I was slipping on rocks, and it was just a great experience for me, just, it sort of hardened me and got me, more involved in the roots, and literally the roots and the environment, literally. And so I think this, just to want to leave you with this, I think community change is catalyzed by doing things abroad. I think that's super important to any change. You need to go outside your bubble. Like, we gotta admit, there's a bit of a bubble here, I mean, this is a bubble. Like, we have soul food, we have like our nice like drinks, and and they're like, so like there are other places in the world I think that these kids like me need to go see, and I just hope that you will take this story and think, hey, maybe my kid would like this too, and perhaps it'll, spark something new in them too. So thank you for listening. That's it.